Well, and great pointers, and that's what usually, if not because of coronavirus and lockdown, we would have been discussing the soft side of the Friday. And for a current affairs magazine show like the AM show, that's what we do on Friday, discussing the soft related issues. But today is a lockdown, and Mama V, is quite interesting, some of the things that Uncle Ebo White was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And Uncle Ebo, this is from his interactive session that he has with his followers, and he was kind enough to allow us to share it on television. So this is the lessons for relationships and the lockdown. There's more actually. He's got 10 points to lessons to share, and this is the first of two parts. The first of two parts. I don't know what you make of it. There are a lot of things I could identify. So he says, for instance, there will be winners and there will be losers. If you didn't have any relationship at all with your family at home, your wife, your husband, then around this time, I don't know how you're managing it. So we want to hear from you. How is it going? How are you managing that relationship back at home? It could be with your spouse. It could be with the children. I mean, you're all with them. If you're both working from home, then it means you're seeing yourselves the whole time. So how is it going for you? Maybe we can learn a few things from all of us sharing our experiences. So give us a call, 030221169102. You can also send me a WhatsApp message. I've got the WhatsApp right here. We will retrieve it. One of the other conversations that we'll be having is also on your phone calls, the internet. And there's an appeal on all of us to limit what we do on social media. So I'm just going to get Roland to introduce it. We'll come and share a statement that was released yesterday, and then we'll move on with the conversations, Roland.
And we're talking about the internet that you use. Because we're in the lockdown, many of us are home, we're using more of data. Well, not only, of course, are we spending more on data, but we're also putting an enormous pressure on the data infrastructure that we have as a country. That also translates into poor internet speed, related waste in the usage of data, etc. That now has become a concern for the telecoms chamber.
And joining us to have a conversation with us on the back of this, we know that the telecommunications chamber has issued a 10-point guidance document. He's going to run us through these pointers. Is the CEO, Mr. Ken Ashigbe, is joining us via Skype. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Hey.
This is Mama V and Roland.
Oh, Mama V. Good morning, Mama V. You've been hidden for too long. And my brother from Chama. We
hope you're keeping safe, though.
We are keeping very safe. These are critical times that we are in, and so we all should take the lockdown seriously. If you don't have anything to do, don't go out. You need to take the various precautions, the various protocols that have been given very seriously so that we can ride the storm.
Great. So around this time, a lot of people are at home. The message is stay at home if you have no business, critical business doing in town. And when people are home, naturally they get on their phones. People are on Netflix. I mean, people need something to keep them company. And then you issue a statement and then you say we should limit what we do online. Please explain.
Okay, so we're not necessarily saying limit, but we're talking about fair usage. You see, the challenge we have is that within this crisis period, what seen globally is that in China, when it started, and into Korea, into Europe, into the Americas, was that there was a sudden surge on internet. And what then happens is that it deteriorated, the internet speed and experiences for customers. And in places like Europe, in the UK, in Switzerland, in Spain, actually some networks went down. So that what we're doing is, in our parts, fortunately for us, we had a bit of time. We had some learnings from this. So the telcos here were able to do some provisioning, work on their systems to ensure that the networks were going to be available and also were going to be stable. But the challenge also you had was with the global logistics situation, where even when critical equipment that you needed to bring into the country was challenged. And so we don't all know how long this is going to take. So we need to work in such a way that we conserve every resource, from data to water to electricity to fuel, everything that we use, and even food, to ensure that we can outlive and outrun this particular crisis. So what we are saying is that in as much as we're working on the supply side and ensuring that we're keeping this, the internet and data, voice, and financial services running, we also are asking all of us that we should have prudent use of these resources, because resources are not, they become. You know, we all know our basic economics that talks about the scarcity of all resources, so that we all need to support from the demand side. So we're not saying don't watch your Netflix. What we are saying is that, you know, on all of these video streaming sites that we have, the capacity, the resolution of the videos that you watch, you can have 4K, you can have high definition, you can also have standard definition. So in these critical times, what we are asking is that, and even the FCC in America, for example, is asking some of these streaming companies to moderate the sizes of their files that they are streaming. And so for you, the customer as well, for you, the subscriber as well, you can moderate it by reducing, you know, to standard definition. You still will be able to get your videos to be able to watch. And then especially now, another thing we're seeing is that in the past, the peak period was in the evening, but now the peak period is still in the evening. It's shot up, but also we're beginning to see a peak, a second peak between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. So around those times, be mindful of the fact that other people are also on the network. So if you're really going to watch your high definition videos, definitely it should not be around this time. You should move it to other times. Unfortunately, downloading the videos and wanting to watch it later also even consumes a lot more data. You're better off streaming standard definition than downloading the video. And then you also know that once you're running your phones, you are on your computers and all of that, it's not all the applications that you're using. Some applications are in the background and are running. Our recommendation is that let's turn off all of these applications that are in the background. Then
Okay, so unfortunately, exactly what he's been explaining, we just lost Mr. Ken Ashigbe. Okay, he's back. Mr. Ashigbe, we lost you slightly.
Then make sure that you can zip it, compress the file, so that you know you can then send it, and then you reduce the number of.
Unfortunately, that connection we just lost again. It's one of the things that when we get him back, I'll be asking him. It looks like there is an issue with stable connectivity these days. It's either your mobile data goes off at one point, it slows down. Sometimes when you're trying to make a call, it simply doesn't go through, or it tells you the phone is switched off when in fact it is not. So that's also one of the things that we'll be exploring with him. Hopefully we're able to raise him back. Ms. Ashigbe, we lost you again.
On others, WhatsApp and Facebook to your colleagues, do audio rather than doing the video calls.
Ashigbe, if you can hear, maybe we should switch from Skype. Let's do the telephone so that we don't lose it. This is the video that he's trying to say we should minimize on that. So we're going to raise him again. But if you've got questions for him, kindly send it to me. I've got the WhatsApp number here. You can send it to me, or you can give me a call right now. Let's see the issues that we have so we can run it by him. 0302-211-6912. You can give me a call now. The Telecoms Chamber releasing a statement of 10 guidance that they call the 10 commandments, and they're asking us to do a number of things. So for instance, they say avoid the use of online entertainment services during digital traffic rush hours, which is describes as between 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. to allow the telecommunications network to meet the most demanding needs of communication applications, professional office teamwork, and distance learning, which are crucial to a large number of Ghanaian citizens and businesses and critical to the functioning of the entire community. So in the statement, they say if you're using service like Netflix, YouTube, reduce the quality of the videos from high to standard definition to conserve bandwidth. Mr. Ashigbe joins us. We've connected with him via phone now. Thank you very much. We were losing you on the video. So I guess it comes back to what you are appealing to us to do.
And I think we are practicing what we're saying. And normally it will be good rather than using mobile to use fixed services. So whether if you have a fixed broadband or you have a fixed call, so something like this would help preserve the network. So I think I had gotten to the point where I was talking about using multimedia as an example and saying that if you needed to give access to your staff who are working at home to particular files, instead of letting them download it, it will be able to use the various cloud services so that they can get the files and be able to use the files where they are, share a link with them so that they'll be able to do that. But as we're saying all of that, and we're talking about less conserving, we also should realize that we live this period that we are working remotely. A lot more people are working remotely. Our cyber hygiene should be also extra high. So let's make sure that for all applications that we are running, we have updated them and we have the current versions, the various patches that have been brought in so that all vulnerabilities have been dealt with. Let's make sure that the issues of antiviruses have been updated. Our IT people need to be, really on their job and working because they're giving people credentials for them to be able to log in remotely. Let's do double authentication. Let's make sure that these credentials are being changed all the time. And for those of us who are also working from home, let's ensure that credentials that have been given to us to be used for official work, we don't share that with anybody, not even with your wife, not even with your children. You don't know who else will be able to get this. We don't want to compromise the integrity of any of our networks at this critical time. So it's also very important. And it's in the same space that I will also say to everybody, this is the time that you need to ensure that in terms of your bank credentials, in terms of your mobile money credentials, you are taking that very, very seriously. And then also for our children. Fortunately for us, JoyNews has got the Joy Learning channel. So let's make sure that they are using that. And let's make sure that if they are not even using that, Wolo has the websites that they can go to. Yes, they can go to that. But let them avoid, unnecessary use of the streaming facilities. The telecom industry has zero rated some of the Ministry of Education portals as well. They can go there, they'll be able to use that without, even if they don't have data, they can use that. But we should try as much as possible that they can limit the streaming that they do, and they should do other things. I know it's difficult keeping the children at home. They always want to go onto the tablet, but there are other things that they can do. We have Scrabble, we have the Owari, we have Libby, various other things that we can use to keep the children active. Then the last thing we're saying is that let's all adopt responsible internet etiquette. Let's all do that. And then, sending too many videos on our unnecessary videos on our various social media channels. Let's be careful. Let's be considerate to our friends as well who have to download all of these things. And then we are saying to everybody, we have zero rated the Ghana Health Service website where you can get access to latest information on the COVID-19. You have the do's and don'ts are there. It's been zero rated, so you don't even need data to go onto that site. We are in the process of zero rating other government of Ghana websites that we might need critical information from. We are asking for the IP address so that the telcos can zero rate them. We are also pushing a lot of information to all of us. I know the JoyNews, you are constantly pushing all of this. Let's all stay safe. If you don't have anything to do, don't go out. Use the digital channels that the telcos have offered. Use other means to be able to get what it is that you want. Don't go out. Make sure you're keeping the protocols as well. And if there's any challenge that you have, you can call the 112 line. It's a toll-free line. You don't pay anything for it, and get help so that we all would be able to deal with this challenge that is confronting us.
Okay, Ms. Ashigbe, thank you very much for the 10 commandments. I've got questions for you. I asked my viewers to also send questions for you. Has data become more expensive within this period of the lockdown? Has there been an increase? There are people who are complaining that data is running very fast.
No, data has not become more expensive. what has happened is that some of the networks, I can't speak on particular views of a particular network. I can say that our members are giving different views. The only thing that we have not done is that we have reduced the prices of some sites, but we have not done a wholesale reduction in the price of data. So definitely data prices have not gone up. But the reason why we're doing this is to say that it is more important to have the service available and stable, and the user experience is good than to reduce prices and get people to run down on them. I remember that on one of the platforms that I am on, immediately this whole lockdown thing came, one of our mates in the States sent about 20 pornographic sites that people are supposed to browse. This is not the time to be doing things like this. We need to, if you check before all of the lockdown time, pornography was one of the places that was eating a lot of, but we know that this time that's not what we want to do. So no, prices of data has not been increased. But the point is that if you are not using it well, it will run down, because if you're watching a lot of Netflix and you're watching high definition, you will say that within a short period my data is run out. It's because of what we're using it to. And then another thing that has happened is that in the past, most of us were in the offices and were using fixed internet, so broadband, fiber. But now we've gone home and we are doing the same thing, but we're doing it on mobile. And you know that definitely the two technologies, in terms of the bandwidth, the space that you have, they are completely different. But the prices have not gone up. If you would say what has happened is that some of them, the caps have rather been increased. And then, as I said, some of the sites have also been zero rated.
Connectivity. Sometimes you call and they tell you the mobile number you've called is switched off when it is not, in fact. So what's happening with that connectivity issue as well? Okay,
so what is happening is that generally a lot more people, so in the past, if you and let's say Araba, you are in the office and there was something you had to do, you would have walked to Araba to go and speak to Araba about it. But now if Araba is working from home this week, it would mean that things that you necessarily have spoken to Araba face-to-face, you're doing that on work. So voice calls for us, especially in this part of the world, has really gone up. In the West, a lot of people would have done voice over IP and all of that, but we are still doing a lot of voice calls. So the number of calls are moved. And then also is the fact that in terms of provisioning, you look at you do your networks in such a way, you know that the load moves to a particular place at a particular time. But now, because a lot of us are at home, some of the places that would have seen around during the day, low volumes are now kindly going up. So and then also we are recommending, it's not only the telco sector that's recommending, but all businesses are recommending that we use the digital channels. So there's definitely an increase, a surge, even in terms of voice. And so that's why we are trying very hard to increase the provisions that we have. And so when we have situations where currently on the Labali Section Road, Ghana Water Contractor is working and cuts fiber, that definitely will disrupt the service. So those cell sites that are connected using this fiber, they will experience challenges. So some of that is also happening. And in the process of wanting to expand our sites, there are some people who are also putting impediments in the ways of the power companies from being able to expand sites. And some of them are all on this perception of, I said, these towers are in use, but they are not. Fortunately for us, an independent body in Ghana, the Radiation Protection Institute and the NCA, the regulator of the industry, have gone around and have taken measurements of radiations that are coming from these cell sites. In Ghana, we have not recorded anything close to 10% of the WHO benchmarks for these towers. So we plead with everybody that we all need to help preserve the network. So let's make sure we don't do anything that disrupts it.
All right.
And then when we have to expand it, we should expand it. So this is what is happening.
All right.
So we plead with all of us to that's why we are asking for fair usage, so that we all be able to get access when we call.
I've asked my viewers, a few of them, to call. Paul is calling. He's on the phone. So just hang on for me. Let's get Paul's question. He's calling from Koforidua. Paul, good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, morning, Mama V. Hello.
Hi, Paul. I can hear you.
Okay, very good. I am speaking from the student perspective. We are now migrating to online studies. and most of us are very are not used to the system. Let me put it that way. And so this is a time for most of the university students to use the data to explore how they can, be able to learn using the e-learning platforms. I am the current president of the University Student Association of Ghana. We are even petitioning the telecos on this issue.
So
because
what's
the
exact issue, Paul?
Come again?
What's the exact issue? What's the exact question?
Yeah, the issue has to do with the data. The slightest thing you do, your data is gone. And so my issue here is that we are using the data to access online studies that we are supposed to do. And hence, the data being expensive is now affecting us. And we can limit our browsing because we are now learning the system. So if there is a way they could regulate those unofficial sites that we are not supposed to visit, they can do that one.
Okay.
But they should reduce the cost of the data for us so that we can learn at home.
All right. This is very important. Thank you very much, Paul. Ms. Ashigbe, I'm not sure how much of that you heard.
I got that very clearly. And so it's one of the things that we're exploring. You see, the thing to do, and like I said to you, engaging with Ghana Education Service, will be able to do something. So the telcos are currently exploring possibilities with the universities as well. The thing to do is that what we can do is to be able to give some packages on particular portals. You cannot leave it open because you can't say you're giving a student because you don't know whether you use it to watch Netflix. But if you're able to talk to the University of Ghana, for example, and they have an online learning portal, then what you can do is to put a particular package on that side so that when the students, because you know that you're using it for education, the same way you've been able to do it for the Ghana Education, Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service portal, we can do the same thing. So this is some collaboration that we're doing. If you can just send me Paul's number afterwards, I will be able to pass it on to the various telcos so that they can, and because he has an association, put a link to some of the universities so that we can get some of these portals and then give them particular packages on those ones. Because as he himself said, we need to limit some of the places that people would go to.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'm hoping that will happen out of this crisis is that our educational system would move to the point where the virtual learning, the virtual doing of things, we would have a hand on it. I remember that when we attended a social partnership, that's a partnership between government, labor, and employers. One of the things that Kabuni raised was the fact that even a lot of our teachers, in terms of their capacity, they were constrained. And I'm pretty sure that all of us as partners, we look at it to see how do we build the capacity of our educational institutions so that in terms of using this digital platform beyond even this crisis, we'll be able to do it so that if this should happen again another time, we are not found wanting.
Okay, one more call and then I'll go to messages. Abin Dao from BBNE, you're on. Good morning, let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning, Mama V.
Good morning.
I also say good morning to Paul, who just called. That's my classmate. Paul, this is the senior citizen.
Okay, please go straight ahead to what your question is.
Yes, what Paul said is true. And what I would also suggest is that it's time that they can make, let's say, a 1 month subscription so that if it is the pornographic film or website that they don't want us to patronize,
visit.
Maybe they can, through that subscription, they can prevent us from accessing that so that if you want to access that, you can pay extra.
Okay, all right.
So that,
okay, great suggestion.
The internet is so costly for us.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Ashibia, before you address that, there's a related point here. Somebody says, why don't you block access to all adult sites?
You see, that will be for the regulators to do. But these suggestions are suggestions that I'm sure we all will take, and then we will look at that, so that in terms of maybe as we're evaluating particular sites, some sites you would increase as well. So, but it's not only just a pornographic site. It's, so somebody might be watching a YouTube video, or might be, so that various dynamics. But I think that the suggestions that are being made where some packages can be given, technology is available. It's about just looking at it now that the crisis has come in, the engineers and the marketing people looking at it and see what packages they can give to students who even don't have a portal but still want to be able to do some educational thing. What are the things that we can do? I would also suggest to a lot of our students also that they don't really need to they can decide, change their studying time and keep doing the peak periods that we have and decide that they would use the packages that the telcos offer within, the midnight and all of that, instead of a lot of people using it to download movies. They can use that to do their e-learnings and all of that. But this is a very fluid period. What we are taking all of these suggestions, we'll pass them on to our members so that we can see how we can help, especially those who want to learn, especially those who want to call emergency and get emergency services, and then also be able to live our lives within this critical time.
Okay, one more before we let you go. Ajawada from VACPO says, sometimes when you call, the call is diverted to a different person. You have to call again and again to get the right person.
I don't know why that should be a problem. I do telecom engineering, but part of it is I've left it for a very long time. You people are multimedia to be away from that. So some of these things, I would urge that she calls the call center. She calls one of the call center of the people she's calling from, and let's find out what is happening in that. So there are various things that will be happening. I will not profess to say I know that, but if she calls the call center, they will be able to deal with it.
All right.
Definitely the congestion issues that maybe, as I had explained, could happen. Once we all do this fair use of internet, it would help. But Marvin, before I go, let me plead with all of us that this is crisis time that we are in. These are extraordinary times. We know that in Spain yesterday, over 900 people lost their lives. We need to take cognizance of the protocols that have been given to us. If you don't have anything to do, stay at home, watch JoyNews. Do other things that you have to do at least. Let's do the social distancing. Let's learn to wash our hands. Let's be monitoring. If you decide, you see that you're coughing, your temperature is going up, don't move to the hospitals. Call the 112 number. This is the time that you should be listening to credible source of news like JoyNews and other news portals and know what is happening so that we can all together work to ride the storm. I've never known a period where Palm Sunday we will not go to church, but that's going to happen on Sunday. And so these are really interesting times that we are in. As you do that, if you are religious as well, go on your knees and also pray. And I pray that also as a country, we will pay attention to our herbalists as well. It's possible that the remedies might be coming from there, might not be coming from orthodox medicine. Let's open all avenues and bring everybody on board so that together we can solve the challenge that confronts us.
Very important. I appreciate your thoughts this morning. Thank you for standing by and answering the questions as well, and for sharing the important message with us. That's the CEO of the Telecoms Chamber there, Mr. Ken Ashigbe. And Roland, we're having a related conversation in terms of the virtual teaching and learning. We're going to be exploring a few things. There are people who are doing it, who are making it work. So what can we learn? There are schools that want to get online, and it's been like forever. They go forward and they come back because they can't proceed. So we've got some teachers who are doing this. If you're a parent and your child learns virtually, you might also want to send us a message because we want to know how that is going, Roland. Yeah, definitely. And virtually, I know Mama V, because she just spoke to Ken Ashigbe of the Ghana Telecommunications Chamber. It's all full of terminologies. We're talking online learning. Forget the virtual, we beg you. Online. Learning remote online. Learning. We beg you. Yeah. Another one. That one is big. It's very big. Well, Ashama boy like me, very big. Okay, so please, online. Online learning. So that's what we're about to discuss. And we promise you, it promises to be an interesting conversation. It doesn't matter where you live in Ghana, you can use online to learn. And I know that we can get some pointers from this discussion. Mama V, are we going ahead or we're taking a break? We'll see if we have Divine. Divine is a fellow at Africa Education Watch. We're going to start with him. He's been at this for a while. So, Roland, we're continuing with the conversation. Well, definitely. And, Divine Pe. Yeah, Mr. Divine, give us your full designation. Which school do you teach in, etc., and so that we know that because this is interactive, we're doing virtual conversation, and it's not me doing it.
All right. Actually, I work as a teacher professionally,
and also a fellow of Africa Education Watch. And this has been put together by Africa Education Watch. Our virtual learning is put up by Africa Education Watch. We have also been trying how best we can complement government's efforts in this crisis so that we can extend hands to our students so that whilst at home, they don't become idle. So we've been doing this for a while now. Personally, I have been into this virtual learning for a while. But the point is, before this crisis, I haven't engaged Ghanaian students on virtual classroom before. What I mostly do is to engage students in Kenya, that's Kakuma refugees. The refugees in Kenya, they all have professional trained teachers. So a group of us across the globe as the educators have come together to provide for them virtually teaching and learning using any other available means, technological available means possible. So we've been doing this a while, but for Ghana, it is something that is new to us. And I think it is something new we are all exploring at a moment. Because as I try to engage my students, trust me, most of them, they don't seem to be conversant with these virtual tools. And because of the excitement even of using the virtual platform, they are trying to be up and doing. You see them, some of them, I go online, I see them on time, waiting for me to add them to the class. We have a waiting room, depending on the class platform you are using, we have a waiting room. Some of them are so excited to be using a platform. So that is a quick tip upon that.
When we're talking about, can we say for the benefit of okay, online education? So when we say online education, and relatedly we can say virtual learning, what really do we mean? Just break it down for us.
Okay, when we talk about online learning, it can be about it can be live, that when a teacher is engaging the students in a live conversation, or probably also it could be a recorded video that the student can later on access, depending whatever it is online. The only thing is that the student is not able to have physical access to the teacher. They learn remotely. The student will be at the comfort of their home. Likewise, the teacher as they engage in the learning. And the fact is, you will not have the same experience as being with the student or the student be with you in a live classroom. So that is just about the online learning.
Which category of, because of this lockdown we're having, of the educational ladder is practicing online learning or can practice?
All right, it's supposed to be for every student, depending if you can access or you have a teacher that is providing that access to you or a school that. What I've seen so far is that so far it is these big private schools that are still engaging their students while they are at home. So even before this crisis, they have been using the platform, unlike the private schools. We don't do that. The private school, we don't do that. But public school, some of the public school, they have been engaging their students virtually. So it is not something new to some students, but majority of Ghanaian students, it is something new to them. They have not been engaged virtually before. It is always physical interaction. So it's supposed to be for every student across the country. But trust me, you can't have every student using this platform. And on our part, the people we see, you see that yes, it still comes to a point that those students, their parents are well-to-do, and they are able to provide for them virtual learning. It is in ideal, it's supposed to be every student supposed, but conditions in our country cannot permit that. That is why the GED itself, you would have seen that what they are doing is to record messages and play on television, because they know that conditions in the country cannot permit us to engage our student, every Ghanaian student, virtually. So that is a shortfall. Conditions like internet accessibility in our remote areas, student access to mobile phone and laptops, even they are not supposed to use them in their schools. You can just imagine. So they are not familiar with this platform at all. Just a handful of students whose parents are well-to-do and are provided them with the opportunity, and those that are educating their wards in private school that they are allowed to use these mobile devices. They are far advanced and they are still continuing to take advantage of this virtual learning platform to engage their students.
And it means that they are doing it in such a way that is very practical. How is that done? At least let's talk about those that are doing it.
All right. The fun is you can't have the experience of face-to-face interaction with students on a virtual platform. It can never be the same. Unlike you being with a student and ask them to do some things that you monitor, and then also they doing some assignments that you monitor closely. That interaction, that engagement in terms of physical engagement cannot be so much practical in online learning. But what happens is just an imitation of physical interaction. But the fact is there are some activities that you can do. On our part, some parents are trying to enroll their kids that are in nursery and preschool. And we've tried that, but we've been finding it challenging because if you're engaging a preschool child virtually, then I don't know what you're going to do, because there you have to do more of activities. It is not about talking. It's about activity. And at times you have to be with a child, hold a child's hand for the child to practice some things. So the physical interaction is far better than the online. You can't have the online to replace the physical interaction. But as we have found it to be in a crisis, and we have found it to be good for now, what will happen is that students are new to the platform. Most of the students we are engaging, they are new to the platform. So we take a day to take them through the tutorial, how to access the platform, what to do. We give them guidelines, what to do in the online classroom and what not to do. And you will be surprised. Some students, they'll be there with you. You see them being with you, but they may not be with you. I've had an experience also like that. A student, I don't know where he learned that from. He recorded himself a video, and that's that placed on his laptop webcam. I thought that student is in the class, but I don't know it was a picture or a video of him that I was seeing on his phone. So we have these challenges all over, but the fact is that it is helping to bridge the gap so far. And what also it will be of a benefit compared to recording messages or television teaching or radio teaching is that you are able to give quick feedback to the student. Teaching is supposed to be that students are to receive quick feedback. So that is the advantage of it. Students are able to ask questions live. They are able to seek clarification on points. If they don't get an understanding, they engage you. And at times we take our teaching outside the virtual classroom, maybe to email. You ask them to do assignment and they email to you. Some are able to still engage you after the online platform on WhatsApp and phone call to ask a question. So that is the good side of the online learning.
So you're saying that things like Google Classroom and all those related things or platforms like WhatsApp, Zoom and all that are all part of the complementary online tools, right?
Exactly. Depending on what the teacher is familiar with, and then what the students who you think they are also good at or can easily be able to use. We have in our country, aside the Zoom, the Google Classroom we are talking about, some technological people, they have also devised local content to mimic the Zoom and then the Google Classroom. So there are people in our country that have created such virtual classroom as well. Some schools, they have their own virtual classrooms. They don't depend on the free source, and they are able to tailor that to meet the interest of the child, depending on what they want to achieve. They are able to design their system to meet the requirements of their student. So we have, it's not only the open source software that people are actually using things that they have created themselves. Okay. Their schools have created, yeah.
Right. So I want to ask, there are some people with some experiences, and we want to open the phone line. So whilst you're online, you can also take some of their questions. But let me first just announce the phone lines. It's on your screen, 0302211 okay, 691 or 2. Okay, again, it's on your screens. Okay, 0302211 or 2. And then we have the WhatsApp platform, 0540109009. I know that so well, so that's easier. Okay, but I have this, and Divine, just take a listen to this. I'm Samuel Asante, an ICT teacher at Able Academy, Tema Community 25. Since the lockdown, I've been using Google Classroom to teach my students. But he's saying he has a problem. There are complaints from the students about network being slow and stable. Is that something you're familiar with? How do they counter it?
Yeah, network problem, it has been an issue. Most of my students, they encounter that will be in the process of learning and you see some students dropping out of the classroom. So that is really a challenge we are facing. Aside the cost of data that they also talk about, I engage their parents and they tell you, hey, data, because it's video, it is running data a lot. So the cost of data and then unstable internet connectivity is something that we are all facing. Once in a while, you get your network to be slow, and your student will tell you they are not hearing you. So that is also something we are also facing at our side.
Okay. This one says, online classes have helped my class. It's something new to us, but we've been able to adapt to the system. My lecturer makes it interactive and interesting. My class has been doing presentations, debates, and discussions online. This really has helped us a lot. And this one is from Flora Addison, a student of Central University. So it looks like it's all from basic to tertiary institutions. Is that the same case?
Exactly. But we are engaging the basic schools.
Okay.
That's what we are engaging.
All right.
But mostly it's being used by the universities. Yeah.
Okay. So quickly, we're dealing with basic, okay, because children.
Yeah.
And okay. So let's do Paul Kofodia. Paul.
Yeah, Roland, good morning.
Yes, sir. What are your experiences with online classes, and what would you advise? Or if you have questions too.
I just want to ask a question rather.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Now the online
wait,
learning.
Let me get this. Divine, can you hear the caller? Okay. Paul, so go ahead.
Yeah, the online learning. I happen to do one from the Calvin University outside. Before you start the entire course, you are taken through 2 weeks visual learning that will enable you to access the classroom and other facilities that are connected to the online learning. Now, this is a situation where we are now new to the system. Majority of us, we are not having access to the internet, not even to talk of the online learning. So what do we do now at this crucial moment? I'm the current president of the University Student Association of Ghana, and this is the concern of a lot of petitions I've received from other students. What do we do? I have experienced that from a foreign university. The classroom is very nice, but now we don't have that system in Ghana now. In this situation, what do we do?
Okay, Divine, note that. Please don't answer straight away. Straight away. Okay, so we do have Lois. Lois, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Serioso.
Please go ahead. Lois from Serioso.
So I personally have experience with online learning, but I chose to do an online program, so I prepared myself for online teaching and learning. I have to get a laptop, I have to make sure I have a good internet service before I even enroll a program. A year like the case, our students are having regular face-to-face interactions, some of whom do not have even laptop or internet service, wherever they are. Some don't even have smartphones. So how do we do online teaching for these people and not leave some of them behind? There are people even at the secondary school level who don't have television at home. Talk less about smartphones or even computers. How are we going to organize online teaching for secondary school students, for GHS students, for even university students, some of who do not have even laptop?
Okay, let's get on to the phone lines again. Our next caller. How would you? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Roland.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Yeji in the Bunu East region.
Please go ahead.
The people of Bunu East region are greeting you.
Well, thank you. We receive those greetings. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I am a student at Valley University, Marcy campus. Currently, we also have a challenge with the online learning because as my brother is also saying that you are supposed to be trained at least not less than 2 weeks. In our case, we are now having a challenge with the institution because we were not trained. And currently, the date given to us was on 9th of this month for us to come on that platform. And we don't know what the training will be. And the school has it on its own program that e-learning will be taking place, but we were not trained. So I want to ask my brother, how feasible is it? How is it going to help the students? Because
your thing is noted. Let's go to Mohammed, calling us from Northern Region. Mohammed. Well, we've lost Mohammed. Divine, did you get the questions?
Yeah, what I did.
Right, great. So just take us through.
Yeah, the president of university students, I think he called when Ken Ashibe was talking, he also called in to raise the same concern. And I heard Ken giving his help. So what they can do is to help the universities that have to come to them so that they can see what they can do to reduce the cost of data for them. But they can't do it for general that, okay, because you are still, after all, how they know that you are students? I'm not a student, but if they say, okay, we've opened it and everybody can have access to it, I'm sure they're also concerned about their data. So as directed by Ken, I think the best is for the president of the University Student Association to approach the telco and see what best with the collaboration of their universities. So what best they can do with their virtual classroom so that students can have some discount, maybe so that the cost of data can reduce for them. And talking about we not being familiar with the system, it is true. We have been approaching integrating of ICT into education with piecemeal approach. You see that we have tried, but we have never gotten there. And this crisis is just giving an opportunity to see how best we can fully get our schools connected online. Otherwise, I even believe before this crisis, I have been talking about it through Africa Education, or we'll be talking about it, that if we are able to capitalize on online classes, the double track system, our students will only be staying at home for 3 months without being engaged with a teacher. But we have not realized that until this time. If we were to realize that at the time that double track was going on, how best we still use the digital tools to continue to engage our students, I believe it wouldn't have something new for us. And for schools that say they don't know, especially the university students, and they say they don't know how to use their platform, it's quite surprising because I don't know how many years you've stayed on campus, and some of them, perhaps it tells us that the university, they have the platform, the virtual platform, but they are not engaging their students with it. So the students are not familiar with the system, they don't know how to use the platform, and now they are having challenge to use it once at home. So it is a wake-up call even to the university lecturers that, okay, the platform, the virtual classroom platforms are not just for fun. Regularly engage your student on those platforms, even once they are on vacation. That's how they can get to use the system. And it's not always that we have to be with our students. Let's get them a different experience altogether. So I believe it comes to the university teachers also to use the available platform. I know that is available to most of the universities. They are having their own virtual platforms. Yeah.
Divine, I have a couple of messages on WhatsApp. I have this one, says, good morning. Dennis from BBNE says, we're not in normal times, but will you get the students in the right frame to even study online in these times? And then we have this one also saying, I'm Ebenezer, a student of UPS. We are really struggling with this online learning. We have paid huge sums of money before this pandemic setting. And the main problem is the cost of data. Your experiences, what do we need to ensure that we have a proper online structure? Is it the network coupled with a cheaper cost of data?
All right. What I believe, if we have been deliberate about it, would have seen how best we have done this with our students. The announcement just came and said, okay, that was a particular Sunday, and then the announcement came that schools are to be closed down the next Monday. So there hasn't been any preparation towards that, just caught us unaware. I believe if we have envisaged this for a long time, have seen what is going on in other countries, would have seen how best would have approached this. And we would have integrated this into it so that, as Ken was saying, if you have to have a special classroom for Ghanaian students that can join virtual classroom using discounted rate for their data, would have talked about that. But now we've dispersed the students to the home. Now the teachers are also helpless. Even if we are talking about a virtual classroom, it will only still benefit some students, especially the rich students. It is not every student that will benefit from it. So I believe it should be something that we should also be concerned about as a country. The government should even start doing something about this before the crisis is over. That when this is all over, we will understand and appreciate the integration of ICT into our education fully. And a quick one, I would advise those that are also using the platform to be very careful. Somebody from the message, the first message you read, the person said, how can we get a student to concentrate at this time? It is important to understand that the students are stressed, the news all over, some of them are afraid, and it is part of us as a professional teacher. You don't just get into classroom and then begin to engage your student at this particular moment anyhow. You have to psych them. You have to give them hope. So it should be part of what the teachers should be doing. It should not only be academics, teaching them from one time to another time. No, it should have to understand that their students may not have the best frame of mind to study, and it is their duty to prepare their students mentally to be ready for lesson. And it should also be giving them education about what is going on, how they can also protect themselves in this trying time. And I also want to appeal that the screen time, although we are talking about virtual learning, parents should also be careful about the screen time of their children, the number of hours they spend on the screen. It shouldn't be from morning to evening. Your child should be hooked to device that I'm doing virtual learning. No, there should be time for break. The child should be able to take break away from the screen. Otherwise, it can also have effects on the child being with the screen for too long.
Okay. Well, it's okay, Divine. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you, Divine. All right. So Divine wanted to add more, but it is certain that he's a great educator. He also knows his stuff. He knows his trade, his craft, and the advice is this is needed. You need adequate data, the good network, but also you need guidance for the children when we're using that. And that's Divine and helping us with the discussions. He is a great educationist and also uses online platforms to teach. And talking about online, etc. We'll have some discussions with a member of the NDC COVID team, a former Deputy Finance Minister, Kaisel Atoforsen, member of Parliament, also will be joining us, and we'll talk about the concerns they have, but also some advice they also want to share related to how, as a country, we all can contribute to ensuring that coronavirus infections are fought. Stay with us. We'll bring you all these discussions next.